This podcast is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Save $400 on every window and $800 on every entry and patio door from now until August 31st. You'll even get a free upgrade to Renewal Smart Sun Glass to keep your home even more comfortable in the heat. Visit rbacentralpa.com/deals or call 717-727-7558 to get on this deal now. A school district is considering a policy that includes certifying the gender of its athletes. In Bensalem, residents continue to struggle with a sometimes dangerous dirt bike problem. SEPTA riders could experience some delays today. Also, did you know mermaids were once spotted in the Susquehanna? I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in a PA. Central Bucks School District is currently considering a draft of Policy 123.3, reports the Bucks County Courier-Times. Among other items, this policy includes a push for, quote, sex-based distinction in athletics, unquote, as a means for preserving fairness and, quote, unquote, safer athletic opportunities for girls. Should the policy come to pass, parents or guardians would be required to designate a kid's biological sex when enrolling or registering them for sports. This designation would stay on the school's record, quote, unless the superintendent or athletic director has reasonable cause to believe the student's biological sex is other than designated. The student would also have to provide their birth certificate certifying their sex to the superintendent or athletic director should either request it. Further information regarding this policy remains pending. A 64-year-old Bensalem man was recently struck and run over by a dirt biker after a confrontation went south, reports the Bucks County Courier-Times. A day later, another dirt bike rider was seen popping wheelies, running stop signs, and ignoring the emergency lights of first responders headed to a house fire. These types of bikes are illegal on public roads unless they're registered with the state and insured. But despite this, they've continued to be a huge issue for Bensalem as well as surrounding areas. Authorities have received 74 reports of dirt bikes causing issues, with nearly 30 coming in since the start of June. This is certainly outpacing the total amount of such complaints that Bensalem saw last year, which was 75. Says Detective Sergeant Glenn Vandergrift, quote, it's not only a nuisance, it's a danger to the community and our residents. Both the hit and run as well as the other dirt bike incident mentioned are still under investigation as of the recording of this podcast. If you're taking a SEPTA bus or trolley today, you may experience some delays, states CBS Local Philadelphia. This podcast previously mentioned how SEPTA employees would have to take safety reinforcement training after the recent series of crashes that have been widely reported on. Training that starts today. Officials did say they're going to try to limit the amount of disruptions to customers as this training takes place, which will last for the next 2 months or so. Did you know that mermaids were once spotted in the Susquehanna? Asks PennLive. It's true. A Marietta Register article from 1881 reported how an old fisherman named Henry Locke spotted a mermaid about 5 times that, quote, comes to the surface, looks about it, then gradually sinks down. Another guy saw one when he was fishing too, a couple of years later. If you want to read the full account of these Pennsylvanian mermaid encounters, be sure to click the article link in the podcast. And if you like stories of a stranger kind, from ghosts, legends to Bigfoot, be sure to check out Paranormal PA on PennLive and to sign up for the newsletter. Sometimes you need to take a break from the news with some of the weirder stories coming out of your state. That wraps up today's episode. For even more news, go on over to PennLive.com. Also, please don't forget to rate this podcast on Apple, Amazon, wherever, and to leave it an honest review if you can. Thanks in advance, and as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll be back again tomorrow for another round of Today in a PA.
This podcast is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Save $400 on every window and $800 on every entry and patio door from now until August 31st. You'll even get a free upgrade to Renewal Smart Sun Glass to keep your home even more comfortable in the heat. Visit rbacentralpa.com/deals or call 717-727-7558 to get on this deal now.